Now, let me ask you a question. What is your passion? Your passion in life? Tell me, can you imagine what it would be like to discover your passion when you are a small child? Have you ever wanted to know where your love of lyrics or music comes from? Now would you like to learn what happens when you connect with your passion and purpose in life? Have you ever heard of a musical artist named Sarantos? Now would you like to meet someone who has some of the answers that we're looking for today? Now are you ready to learn how to be successful and how to make music? If you can answer yes or maybe to any of these questions, then you are in the right place. And I would like to welcome you to January Jones Sharing Success Stories. Today I will be introducing you to my guest. He is a success coach extraordinaire. He will provide us with wonderful information, inspiration, and some really, really great advice if you are thinking about having or beginning a musical career. I'm pleased to announce that this show is now live on Talk4 Media and syndicated on iHeart Radio Talk with over 55 million subscribers. We are archived 24/7 for your listening pleasure at iHeartRadio. Our show has now had over 2.2 million listeners to date. So now it's time for you to sit back and relax as you enter the no wine zone. Pour yourself a glass of wine, get some cheese and crackers, and enjoy our show. Now let me tell you a little bit about our guest today. His passion for music began before he knew what the word passion meant. Our guest began writing lyrics as a small child while people watching in his mom and pop's family diner. That is to say, when he wasn't working and helping mom and pop at the diner as a cook, dishwasher, waiter, or cashier. In those days, he always had a pad of paper, loose leaf sheet, or even a napkin to feverishly write down lyrics. As technology evolved, his iPhone, iPad, and computer have gladly become the recipients of those lyrics. Do you have any idea how long it took to digitize all those songs? Our guest's love of music is profound. His lyrics express his love of people and the world around him. While life is fraught with many challenges, it also offers many blessings. His songs span an entire spectrum of emotion. And lest he take himself too seriously, he has a pretty wicked sense of humor. You may recognize this in some of his more lighthearted lyrics, Facebook or Twitter posts, or even in random music video or two. Whether a particular song or lyric is deep, serious, or lighthearted, most people would agree that it is something they can relate to as people on this planet. It is my pleasure to welcome to the show today, Sarantos. Hi, Sarantos. How are you doing, dear?
Hi, January. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to having you on the show. And as my many, many listeners know, that we always close each of our shows with one of your songs. And you, as part of your program, you donate some of the proceeds from your songs to various charities. I just shared with everyone a little bit about your background, and tell us a little bit what it was like when your success story began working with your parents in their diner when you were just a little bitty guy.
My parents were immigrants from Greece, and they had a restaurant, normal, everyday kind of couple, loved their children and their family very much. And I was very lucky to grow up in a very, very loving environment where they fostered almost anything I wanted to do within reason. They were kind of strict, but the music thing, they always encouraged singing, dancing, and it was a great environment to grow up in. And it really began at a young age, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and you were actually working at a young age in a family environment. Nothing better than a Greek restaurant, Greek food. The love of a Greek family is something that's amazing. Share with my listeners, what does Sarantos mean? What is that in Greek?
Sarantos in Greek is my real name, which is Sam. So I chose it because I thought it was kind of unique, and I'm obviously proud of my heritage. And to be honest with you, when I was looking to try to figure out what I was going to name myself, every single thing I tried to name myself was taken. So I thought it was a very clean name. I thought I could brand it. And, you know, the added bonus is it meant something to me on a personal level.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now, do you have other siblings, or were you an only child, or how did your family life play out for you?
I do have one sister, and she's younger than me, so I was always the older brother. And we actually probably fought a little bit when we were in grammar school, and we're like cats and dogs, but after that, we pretty much were very good friends, and we've always gotten along. There have been no problems between us.
Okay, now, do your parents play musical instruments? Are they musically inclined also?
No, you know, my dad worked his butt off, and that's pretty much all he ever did. He would certainly sing and dance, but no, he really didn't play an instrument, and the same with my mom.
Okay, so then, but for you, they were very encouraging in whatever you wanted to do, musically or anything else, right?
Absolutely, and we always would listen to music in the car, at home, Greek music, American music, anything. So they definitely love music. I think they just were basically working all the time, and they didn't have time for themselves. Okay,
well, I know where you're coming from, because my parents were a first generation over here, and it was all about work all the time, and trying to get ahead and live the American dream. Now, when you wrote your first songs, who did you sing them to, or how did you present those to your folks, or did you have a music teacher, or what was the process for you?
I was always captivated by words, and I started writing from as young as I can remember. And I kind of tell people, I think when my songs started making sense was probably around fourth grade. And I would show them to people at the restaurant, my sister, my parents. I would kind of show them to everybody, friends, anyone I could. And other than singing informally, I never really was into anything as a young child, except for 1 year my mom did put me in tap dancing, believe it or not. So I learned how to tap dance, which I can't say I was thrilled about it, because my sister and a bunch of girls were there, and it was just I was the only guy. But after that, I always wanted to start a band in high school. I just couldn't really get my friends to do it with me, and it kind of lingered. And eventually, I just decided I was just going to burst if I didn't do this, and I finally got around to it, I guess.
Now, so you technically have any formal music lessons, did you? I mean, no. You can't count tap dancing.
Yeah, no, I did not. And that's my one regret in life, that I didn't really pursue an instrument per se. And over the years, I kind of self-taught myself to play the piano, the synthesizer, the guitar, but I don't consider myself an instrumentalist. And even now, I have an app on my phone, Musicopolis. I'm always trying to reteach myself about chords and scales, and I really wish I would have done it from a young age, and I'm always trying to learn.
That's great. Now, do you remember the first song you wrote?
I don't, because it probably didn't make any sense. I actually, when was it? Maybe 5 years ago, I digitized all my songs, and I lost track after 2000. And I would look at some of the lyrics, and again, I had no education or training on how to write a song, and it's pretty cool to see how I've evolved over the years, where I know what a verse is and a chorus and a bridge. But I've seen some of the older songs, and it's kind of fun actually to kind of look at these, and part of it is I'm ashamed. I'm like, did I really write this? This is kind of dumb, but some of them are actually pretty good. Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Who did you look up to musically? Who were your idols when you were growing up?
Anyone in the 80s. I love 80s music, and I'm still influenced by that very heavily. And anyone from, on the rock side, Def Leppard, Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi. On the pop side, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston. Wide diversity of influence. And anything 80s is kind of where it starts for me. And then through the years, I'd like to think that I have a little bit of the Beatles, even modern artists like Bruno Mars and everybody. Yeah, I'm kind of influenced by everybody. Now, I'll definitely try to add flavors to different songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And that is what a wonderful time to be experiencing a musical career. So there's so many fantastic influences. And when, you say the Beatles, my gosh, dear, that takes me right back to where I started out loving music. And they were just amazing. And their songs and lyrics, obviously have more than stood the test of time. They're brilliant. We're going to take a break and hear from our sponsors. And when we come back, Chad, our wonderful engineer, is going to play one of your songs for our listeners to enjoy. We'll be right back with Sarantos. And right now we're going to listen to one of his latest release. It's called What If I Never See You Again by Sarantos. Wow, wasn't that fun? What a great song, Sarantos. I love that. And I want to share with our listeners that your love of music is profound, and your lyrics express this love of people in the world around you. While life is fraught with many challenges, it also offers many blessings. Sarantos' songs span an entire spectrum of emotion. Aren't you having the best time ever writing these songs?
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun. It's a challenge, and I try not to be boring, so I definitely have fun with it.
Okay. Well, share with my listeners how this second CD release is going for you. I know this is very exciting.
It is. It's a very exciting time because, last year was my first year. I started in January of 2014. And even though I was kind of trying to be active on social media and spread the buzz for a couple months before that, this year is very different because there's kind of an established base of fans and people out there interacting with me. So each month it's continued to build, and it's exciting. The last, I think, 4 weeks alone, I've had about 1,500 people sign up for my email list alone.
Oh, wow.
So it's just very, very exciting. And you guys know an email list is very, very valuable.
Yeah.
Because there are people that want to be on there. They want to hear from you. And of course, I don't spam anybody or ever ask them to buy anything. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. Well, your email list is gold. And let's talk a little bit about some of the charities that you work with. The American Cancer Society, the American Lung Association. I'm having breathing issues, so I'm interested in that. The Make-A-Wish Foundation, the American Heart Association, and St. Jude's, I'd give anything. Thalion Society, I don't know what that is. That's a new one for me. And ASERF, American Red Cross, Chicago Medical School. Okay. And the Hellenic Academy. Talk about how you decided which charities to work with and how you donate profits from your songs to these charities.
Sure. So what I initially wanted to do when I came up with my mission and my goals, my musical goals are very simple. I basically wanted to just share my music around the world. I want people to hit the replay button and listen to it over and over. So that was one of the reasons I just share all my music for free on my website. People can download it. They can share it with their Facebook friends, Twitter, email, whatever they want, and I encourage them to do that. But when I looked at what I wanted to represent, there was an ulterior motive I had, and that was I wanted to donate money to charity. I think one day, if it's ever revealed what I do for a living, I think people will kind of understand that I'm not full of it and I'm genuinely interested in trying to help people, and it might make a little more sense. So I decided I was going to donate a third of profits to charity.
Okay.
And each song has a double meaning to it. So when I looked at each song, initially it started out where I would decide the charity, but as I keep releasing a new song every month, I've had some really cool ideas from fans, and they've kind of gotten on board. So now, at this point, the fans kind of help me decide what charity, and I encourage all feedback, and I listen to them, and I try to see what is the double meaning to the song and how can I relate it to a specific charity. And that's basically how I choose it.
Oh, that's amazing. Tell us why you chose Heart to Heart International.
So Heart to Heart International is the one that I chose for the song that just came out this month that we're going to hear next, called The Mission of Heart. And basically Heart to Heart International tries to improve healthcare around the world in communities and countries that don't have the resources. And really they want to just imagine a world where every person has access to a healthy life, which I think everyone is entitled to. And I thought that fit very well with this song, because the song A Mission of Heart is a very positive song. It's about a man who wants to change the world. He wants to help people, and that's really what it is at its core essence. That's the feeling and the emotion to that song, so I thought it fit really well with it.
Oh, yeah. And how did you choose the National Center for Fathering? What If I Never See You Again? Wow.
What If I Never See You Again is basically a song that I wrote about my father about 2 years after he passed away. Oh. And it was just one night I couldn't sleep, and this question kept nagging at me. What if I don't see him again? What if there isn't a heaven? What if I just never see him again? And it really troubled me. And I wrote the song, and when I was looking for different charities, obviously it's about my father, and I thought, wow, this is a cool nonprofit. They really want to improve kids who might not have a father, a positive fathering experience, which I had as a child. I had my dad for many, many years, and I can't even imagine kids that don't have their father or don't know them. And I thought that was a cool charity talk, specifically trying to provide father figures for children. And I thought that really fit well with the song.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. That's wonderful. How about Feed My Starving Children, A Child's Mind? What prompted this song?
A Child's Mind basically wrote it. I think when I perform here and there, one of the things I kind of tell people is, people think they're insulting me when they say I have the mind of a child, but to me I take that as a compliment. And it doesn't mean that I'm immature. It means that I'm always kind of playful. I have that youthful naivety. And that's kind of what the song's about, that you miss being a child, having that mind of a child. And Feed My Starving Children, I had the honor of going in the Chicago area to one of their centers. And it was crazy. I was there for, I think, 2 hours. And I packed food for these children that it would feed them for almost a year. And it really kind of hit home that, wow, 2 hours of my time and someone's going to be able to eat for a year.
For a year, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they try to give food to a lot of the malnourished children around the world. I think they serve something like 70 countries. And I'm kind of making a cool montage of that so that if I ever get to go on tour, there'll be a cool video of that, because obviously I think that's a very worthy cause. And it's really cool to meet some of the people at some of these charities, and I want nothing more than to make it on a bigger stage and be able to bring them along for the ride. I really do.
Oh, well, I have no doubt you're going to do it. We have a priceless personality visiting with us today, Sarantos, and I'm proud to say that Sarantos, we close each of our shows with his songs, and his songs are involved in charitable organizations, and he donates the profits from these songs to these charities. Sarantos, let's talk about what you're doing this year that's different than last year.
Probably the thing that is the biggest difference is I've really kind of hit a groove with releasing the new song and music video every month. And at the fans' request, I've also started releasing a new lyric video every month. So that's one of the biggest differences. I don't know if you remember last year when I was releasing a book chapter, but I started mid-year. So I'm all caught up. The book came out in January, and I'm caught up, and every month I'm releasing a new book chapter of the second fiction fantasy book. So that's probably keeping it consistent and releasing content basically every week is what I'm doing. And then the other thing that I'm really focusing on is trying to finalize a band so I can stop saying no to a lot of these gigs and be able to do some performances, because at the end of the day, I'm getting crazy just rehearsing every week. I really want to get out there. And unfortunately, I'm not in the position to be able to perform at like small venues and bars, but I really, really want to get out there and perform for the fans. And I think a live show, they're going to be very surprised when they see me perform live, because it's going to be very different than what anyone else has done. And I think they're going to appreciate the authenticity and the realism.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Yeah, me too.
I know. Let me know when. I'll be there. I'll be there in the front row. Let's share your website information with our listeners so they can go to your website and get your songs. Could you do that, please?
Sure. So the main website is melogia.com, which is www.melogia.com. And if they go on there, they can find links to all the different social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and they can also download all the songs, all the lyric sheets. And of course, the one thing I recommend they do is sign up for the email list, because they will get all the inside information. And for example, last year I surprised everybody and released a Christmas CD, but nobody had any clue it was coming except for the email list. So they'll get all the inside information first.
Oh, that's really, and that was a great song that you did, an album. Let's talk a little bit about the Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and you wrote, "We accept the love we think we deserve." How did that song come about?
That song, at that time, it was interesting because you had all the domestic abuse issues. The NFL was in the spotlight, and the last year has had a lot of issues with domestic abuse. And when I looked at that song, obviously it's a song about a man who, it's a little borderline. Is it physical abuse? Is it emotional abuse? But the bottom line is, it's someone who's helpless, and they stay in this relationship, and the question is, should they be there? They don't think much of themselves. They think that they deserve this, that they accept the love they think they deserve. And that's really what the song's about. Domestic charity, I thought it fit really well into it. And if your listeners get a chance to watch the music video, every so often, probably every 4 videos, I try to make it really funny. And I thought I'd be very lighthearted. So the music video has been, I think it's by far the most viewed music video I have. And it's very funny. It basically pokes fun at online dating and trying to find someone who's a soulmate. So I certainly, even though I write some of these emotional songs, I certainly don't want to be a downer all the time. But it's a very serious topic, of course.
Oh, yeah. And then let's talk a little bit about these topics that you have chosen for your charities. I have to tell you, they are all so very, very close to my heart. Your Foundation for End-of-Life Care, Close Your Eyes. How did you become involved with this group?
Close Your Eyes is a New Age song, and it's a little bit different than anything else I've done. I haven't done a New Age song otherwise. And when I initially was inspired for it, I kind of thought in my head, okay, what would I like to hear or imagine what other people would like to hear if they died on their way up to heaven? What would the angels be singing? What song would... So when you listen to the music of it, you listen to... the one thing I didn't mention, I was in the choir growing up for about 1.5 years or so. So it definitely has that church choir, humming, a lot of reverb in my voice, which I naturally have reverb. It wasn't an effect. And I thought it was really kind of powerful. And when I looked at the charities, I just thought the end-of-life care was perfect for it, because, of course, when you look at hospice care, when you look at whether they're terminally ill or not, it's such a hard thing. You have someone who's dying, and it's their final act on this earth, and we want to make it as glorified and as privileged as we can. So I thought it really fit well with the song. And if you look at the music video, it's a really cool video about basically me and my 2 kids who all died in a car accident, and how our wife deals with it, because she obviously was not in the car and she survived. And it's kind of a powerful music video too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what a wonderful opportunity for you to be able to do your creativity and then share it with some wonderful, wonderful charities. Welcome back with my guest today, Sarantos. His website is melogia.com, melogia.com. And he writes these fantastic songs, and profits from these songs go to various charities: American Cancer Society, American Lung Association, Make-A-Wish Foundation, the American Heart Association, St. Jude's, I'd Give Anything, and ASERF, ASERFY. His songs are fantastic. He works with the American Red Cross. And right now we're going to hear one of his songs, Close Your Eyes. That was Close Your Eyes by Sarantos. And proceeds from this song go to the Foundation for End of Life Care. Sarantos, this is wonderful having had you on the show. You are such a delight, and you are doing such wonderful things for charities and for the artistic community. Aren't you having the best time of your life, dear?
Absolutely. It's a lot of fun, and I want to thank you for having me on the show, and to all your fans for bothering to listen to me. I appreciate it.
Oh, are you kidding? Bothering you are wonderful. And I'm honored to share you with our listeners, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you. Everyone, be sure you can go to his website, Melogia, MELOGIA.com. And what's happening next for you, Sarantos?
More of the same. New music, new videos every single month till the day I die. There's no reason not to, and I look forward to this journey.
Oh, fantastic. And I'm thrilled to have had you along on January's journey, and we look forward to having you back again and again. To my wonderful listeners, we've hoped you're enjoyed our show today. Hasn't it been very, very special? My upcoming guests are all exciting, eclectic, and energizing, just like Sarantos. I would love to welcome you to our No Whining world. When you can, sign on to my website, January Jones. If you would like to be a guest or advertise, just go to info@January Jones. We love sharing our stories, our struggles, and our secrets for success. Now, remember my mantra. If you think it, then you can do it. So, dear friends, please stop with the whining and then start smiling and then start sharing our show with everyone you know. And if that doesn't work, then start eating chocolate. Lots and lots of chocolate. Again, thank you to my wonderful guest today, Sarantos. This is January Jones thanking you for joining me today on my journey and reminding you to take care and stay safe as we close with music by Sarantos.
As the night settles down upon